What is up, everybody? Welcome to my first video of CinemaFreeks. This channel is going to be all about cinema, movies, series of movies. We're going to be talking to directors, actors, whoever we can get, and to really get into like the stories, like the behind the scenes stories, crazy stuff that happened on the set that people don't know about, of their favorite movies, their favorite actors, or if you're like me, like a lot of directors, the director's point of views on, certain movies or like a series of movies that they've done, like stories that people might not know about. And I have a lot of people lined up. Well, I hope to have a lot of people lined up for this. What really drove this idea was a conversation I had with someone who unfortunately passed away in 2020 because of the coronavirus. He was an older guy. I'm not sure if you guys know about Bloodsucking Freaks, but Bloodsucking Freaks was a movie that came out in 1978. By Joel M. Reed. So the reason why I even got to talk to him was because I had this crazy idea. I was like, I love that movie so much. It's such an old movie, and for the time, it was well planned. It was well put together, and so I wrote him, and I didn't know if it was the right place to write him. I had no idea if it was even going to reach him, but it's a long message, super long. So what I said, basically the idea behind it was, like, I love the movie so much. I want to do not really a remaster, because remaster is like making the original like better, like higher quality, better visuals and everything. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do like a remake of this movie. Had a lot of actors in mind. He just laughed at me. Like, when I told him who I wanted to be in it. Okay, so I asked him, I was like, can we talk? Like, I just want to talk about this idea, and that's all I wanted to do. I was like, what would I have to do to be able to do like a remake of this movie? So he wrote me back. I was like, oh my God. So he was like, I will talk to you sometime next week, and we will discuss all of this. And I was excited. I was super excited. This was in 2017, and me being like in my early 20s, I was like, might as well just see what he says. Obviously, like, that was the whole point, because I wanted to talk to him. And so what I thought was going to be, he was going to come on there and be like, all right, this is what you got to do. This is what the amount of money it's going to take, and this is what you need to do to prepare to make a remake of this movie in this day and age. Because really, if this movie came out this year, no, it probably wouldn't. But this is 1978 we're talking about. So I just asked him, I'm like, hey, what's something about the movie that I should know about? Like, I wasn't really thinking like this is what I want to ask him. I just wanted to literally know what I would need to do the remake, or if I even could, because like using the actors' names like Sardu and Tom Maverick, or like Tom Maverick or something like that. Just using trying to get as close to the movie as I can, but obviously I can't have the same actors, but like have actors that I think would go very well in this movie if it was made today. Or, well, what I was thinking back then, which is important. I'll get to that. So, he was like, all right, well, what do you want to know? I was like, well, could I make a remake of this movie? And could I use, the main character, Sardu? Could I use his name as like the character name? And he was like, well, yeah, you can do all that. He's like, I don't care what you do with the movie. You can do anything you want. And I didn't know if this was like encouragement, like, yeah, you can do anything you want, or if it was literally like, you can do literally the movie over again, just with new actors, new everything. And that's basically what he was telling me. And this is how he told me. He said, you can buy the right to the movie right now if you want. I was like, there's no way. You're literally telling me I can buy the rights to one of my favorite movies and I could own it and I could do whatever I want with it. And it's like, people know the movie. I don't know if you guys know the movie. If you don't, go watch it. It's crazy. It's kind of, it's under the genre of comedy horror, but it's more like a really dark, like it's a really dark humor. If you find this humorous in any way, it's very dark humor, insanely dark. So some of the parts are funny, but I didn't watch it and I was thinking like, oh wow, this is a comedy horror movie. Like it's like you feel like you're losing your mind. It's very, I wouldn't say psychedelic. There's not like trippy visuals or anything. But anyway, so so basically he said you can buy the rights to the movie and you can have everything, which I really wish I would have done it. And he said, if you make the remake, put me in the movie somewhere. That's all I want. So that would be sick, dude. Remake this movie, get to hang out with him, the original director, have the original director in the movie. That would be so sick. When I talked to him, he was like in his mid 80s. He was around like 81 or 82 when I talked to him. So he died in Brooklyn, New York, where he was from, on April 13th of 2020. And I read into this, and it was because of COVID, sadly. Like, that sucks. He would probably still be alive today. But I was ready to meet him. It was the money that stood in my way to owning the rights of Bloodsucking Freaks. So, I mean, at the time, I mean, I probably still couldn't, like, have all this money right now and just throw it out there to have the rights to the movie, but he told me for $5,000 you can have the rights to the movie. Well, like, okay, this is a whole movie we're talking about. Like, it's an old movie, but like it's still the rights to the movie to where I could do whatever I want with it. He's like, you can remake it word for word. I don't care. He said, I don't care about the movie anymore, which is sad. Like, I hate that. It's such a good movie, and he just don't care about it anymore. He don't care to own it anymore. He said, I want to sell it before I die. I want someone else to have this movie and do something with it. I don't know if that meant, like, all of the merch and stuff. So there is a company that technically co-owns the rights, I guess. They make merch for different horror films and stuff. I forget what it's called. But he said you're going to have to also, you know, work with them on stuff like that, like merch and stuff, which would have been fine. I think you could buy like Bloodsucking Freaks shirts and stuff. I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen it, but I don't know if the sales would go to me because I own the movie now or whatever, but like I wish I would have, because now that I realized just the other day that he died, I was super bummed because like I was talking about it with somebody and I was telling them about, you know, the whole interaction, and they're like, this is so fucking cool. But now I don't know if I did want to buy it, who I would talk to or whatever. But now to all the crazy stories he told me about this movie. This dude he just got straight to the point. Like he didn't sugarcoat a single thing. So he wasn't supposed to be the director at all. He was working on the film. He was like a co-director, I guess, something like that. Has to do with production. So everything was set to shoot this movie, and he was calling up the director. He was like, okay, we're going to shoot on these days at these times. And he was telling him all his schedules and stuff. So he could be there because he's the director. Well, the guy was like, well, that sucks because I'm moving to France. He was just straight up, I'm going to France and you're going to direct it. So he's like, I don't want to direct this movie. I've never directed a movie before. And he's like, well, you're going to have to figure it out. So literally the director of Bloodsucking Freaks kind of handed it over to him. He was just like, you're going to have to direct this movie now. I can't do it. And he didn't want to do it. He didn't want to be the director. But he was like, you know what? Let's try it. You know, got to try everything once. Might as well direct the whole movie. It's already set up. Everything's good to go. You just got to have the director, which he became the director, and he wasn't even trying to be, which is crazy to think about. Like, you're working on a movie, you know, you might be like a co-producer or something, and then all of a sudden you're the director, which is probably a big task to have, like, just all of a sudden, like, oh, you direct it. And so, you know, he said there was a lot of ups and downs with it, you know, like, because he's never directed a movie before, and he said he kind of got into the director position, you know, like as the movie went on, he was like, yeah, I like this. I can direct more stuff for sure. And that's what he did. You know, he went on to direct more movies and all that stuff. And he actually has a documentary about himself called Reed Unbound, the Joel M. Reed story, which I've never seen. I'm gonna have to watch that. That would be awesome to watch now. He also acted in a lot of movies that he also directed. That's why he wanted to be in the movie. And, you know, I told him, I was like, I have the perfect character for you. And it was going to happen. I had planned some locations to shoot in. All that stuff. But back to the stories that he told me, which this is what I can remember. There was a lot to it. There was so much to this. It was insane. I couldn't hardly keep up with. He was talking so fast. I wish I had it recorded. I would do anything to have that recording. I may have recorded it, but it's on like an old hard drive or something that I can't get into. I think it was my old Mac hard drive for my iMac, and I tried to get into it recently. It's toast, which really sucks. There's a lot of stuff on there, but still, I wish my first video was an actual interview with somebody, which is going to happen. Just got to give it some time. So another story that he told me was about the woman, Natasha, the football player's wife, who basically gets kidnapped by Sardu and his midget buddy. I mean, I don't know if people say midget these days, but that's who he is. That's who it was. Luis de Jesus, that's his name. He was Ralphus. He, and Sardu, takes his wife, and she's tortured and has to perform in shows and stuff just like everyone else did. He told me a story about her. It's a very sad story. It's not very long. There's probably a ton of more details to it, but I can't remember them all. So basically, they were having like a pre-party or something, like just for everyone to meet and get to know each other. And so he told her, he said, Joel, the director, he told her, he was like, if you want to be in this movie, come to this dinner. You have to be completely naked the entire time, and you're going to sit right beside me. So that's what she did. He made her do that. And I was like, what? That's crazy. And like, it's sad what happened to her not too long after Bloodsucking Freaks was made. She was in some other stuff. Euro's Perversion. I'm not sure what that is. That was in 1979, so that was a year after. So it was like 3 years after all this happened. So he told her, like, you have to do that. I don't think there's one scene without a naked girl in it. So I'm sure he wanted to see like how she acted around other people while being nude. I'm sure there were other ones too, but there's no shortage of nude girls in this movie. So if you go watch it, there's a nude girl in every single scene. Some slam bands that I listened to actually used audio from Bloodsucking Freaks. Good stuff. Great stuff. I love that movie. I love the bands that use the clips from the movies, everything. And that's another cool thing. If I would have owned the rights to the movie, at least, I could say that some of my favorite bands uses clips from a movie that I basically own. Only $5,000. It pisses me off now that I didn't do it. But, at the time, I didn't have the money. I still don't. I still wouldn't be able to just get out $5,000 for a piece of paper or a bunch of pieces of paper that just says I own the rights, or just signing over the rights to the movie, which is a huge deal. I was surprised that it was only that much, but I wasn't contacting him to be like, hey, I want to buy the rights to this movie. But anyway, he was like, yeah, she couldn't act. She sucked. She was fucking stupid, and that's probably why her husband shot her. And I was like, what? He was like, yeah, she was taking a bath one night, and her husband, I don't know if it was a shotgun or a pistol, but she was taking a bath, and he comes in there and shoots her in the head and murders her. In real life. This isn't a movie. This is real life. She gets murdered by her husband. I don't know why. We can actually see. This was in November of 1983. She was from Minnesota. And it's funny that on IMDb says she was accidentally shot during a hunting trip, which that's probably what it says on there, but I'm pretty sure the director of the movie that knew her personally knew that she was shot in the bathtub by her husband. So she doesn't seem like a person that would go hunting. It just seems like a easy freak accident to just throw on a website. I mean, this is IMDb, so anybody can really just put whatever they want on there. Yeah, that's basically how it went. I wish I had more information on this video, but it was just really cool to talk to him. He was straightforward about everything. He didn't sugarcoat anything. He just told me like it was. Hey, you want this movie for $5,000? Go for it. And I was just like, okay. Like, I did not expect him to say that at all. So he laughed at me because he was like, all right, so what would this remake look like? So I was like, all right, cool, let's do it. I want Kevin Spacey. So this was before all the shit with Kevin Spacey. And he laughed at me. He was like, you're not going to get Kevin Spacey as Sardu in the movie. And I was ambitious. I still am. But I knew that I was just thinking of every actor that I could think of that would be perfect for Sardu's part would definitely be Kevin Spacey, because what really made me think that was, I mean, he's been in so many movies. And I know this is a more recent one from all of his films that he's done, but Horrible Bosses was one that really made me think about him for Sardu's part. And yeah, he laughed at me. He's like, how are you going to do that? You're not going to be able to do that. It's going to cost you like $50 million or something like that. And I'm like, I'm trying to go big. I don't know what you're laughing at. I'm being serious. Another person that I wanted to play in the movie, probably the doctor that like drills into that girl's head and like sucks it out with a straw. He was on American Horror Story. Finn Wittrock. That dude, his acting in American Horror Story, I know he was like not one like a loved character or whatever, but like I seen it in him. Like I knew him playing this mentally ill rich kid. Like he probably doesn't act like that. He seems like a really cool guy. I've seen him some interviews with him, but his acting is crazy good. And like that's what I always thought about American Horror Story. I was like, that dude would be perfect in somewhere in this movie. I mean, I can't remember all the people that I was going to put in there, but those two, Kevin Spacey and Finn Wittrock, both of those would have been so good in this movie. I wish I could have made it. But I think now if you put, that Finn Wittrock dude as Sardu's part and make something else, I don't know if that would work. It might. I mean, this idea is not, it's still doable, I think. I think it's, I could still be able to do it. The location could still be the same that I had in mind. Because I know where it is. I wanted to buy the place It's a castle in Memphis. It's like they sold it for $1. The city didn't want it anymore, and so that was gonna be like the castle where everything happened, like the shows and stuff. I'm sure there would have been different sets. I just wish I would have made it and did the whole thing while he was still alive. That's my only regret. I watched the movie 7, 8 times in a row, sitting there writing stuff down. What did I want to do different? I did make some scenes the same and like reworded a bunch of stuff. Because they used a lot of big, like weird words in this movie. I think, I mean, some people might not think, but I think it was just like, I couldn't really follow along with like a lot, or not a lot, but some of the dialogue was just confusing. But if you know a lot of big words and stuff, you know, you'll be fine watching this movie. But I wanted to like not really dumb it down, but like I was just trying to modernize this movie, you know, throw in some different words for other words and adding some scenes. I added some scenes. I took out some scenes. Nothing too crazy. Nothing that was gonna mess with the storyline or anything. So let me know if you love that movie. I love that movie. It's such a good movie. I want to go watch it. I haven't watched it in a while, but you know, the other day I was just talking to someone about that whole interaction I had with him, and which inspired me to make this YouTube channel. I do have some stuff in the works. I am trying to get a hold of 2 of my favorite directors, which obviously, well, not obviously because you don't know me. I'm Steven. What's up? I do have an IMDb. I'll link it so you can go check it out. Only have 2 credits on there, but you got to start somewhere. I want more on there. I'm going to try to have Kevin Smith because Clerks 3 just came out. I want to know everything about it. I'm sure you do too. I'm trying to get Adam Green, the director of Frozen, not the stupid animated version. I'm talking about the real life version of Frozen that was made way before Frozen. He made Hatchet, which is the main reason why I know who he is and why he's so great. I love the Hatchet series. I want to know everything. I want to have multiple episodes: Hatchet 1, 2, 3, and then Victor Crowley. So like, oh, I'm trying to get it. So those are 2 trying to get in the works. You know, there's so much stuff to talk about with these guys and other directors for other movies. Not even the directors. I want to have actors and stuff because they have a bunch of stories. You know, this might be stories, you know, something funny that happened trying to get everyone together for the movie, or something that happened during the movie, after the movie. Maybe like some setbacks or something that delayed filming and stuff like that. Because, you know, some movies don't go as planned. Most movies don't go as planned. Unless everything is just very carefully planned and, you know, something goes wrong. And, you know, those moments no one really highlights those moments. They might mention it on like Jimmy Kimmel or something, but like no one interviews these people just for those stories, and that's what I want to do. So if you know anyone that I can get in contact with for Kevin Smith or Adam Green, or if you have an idea on a director or any actors or even people that worked on the movies that you want to hear about, let me know and I will try to get in contact with them. I'm going to be working on this hard, dude. And my next video, I don't know who it's going to be with, but it will be like a real conversation with them. Not like this, because I would have put our whole conversation. It was like 3 hours long with Joel, and I really wish I had it screen recorded something. I didn't know much about it back then, but now I do, and I would have. It wasn't a video call. It was just I think it was like a Skype call or something, which I could have easily recorded it. But yeah, that is it for this one. I hope that you are excited for the future of this channel, just like I am. I'm very excited. I want to get this going. Leave something in the comments. Do you like the movie? Did you hate the movie? That is it for me. This is CinemaFreek. Welcome to the channel, and I will see you in the next one.